Let's talk about perimenopause and menopause. Hello, this is Jovanka from JovankaCiares.com, and this is another episode of the Reclaiming Wellness Live series. This particular series, which is all about women's history and women's health in particular, celebrating Women's History Month, we are going to be talking today about perimenopause and menopause. So, as you probably heard from yesterday, I'm coming here every day for 4 days on this four-part series to talk about issues that affect women and women's health. And so there's a lot of things that women are affected by, but in this particular case, I wanted to focus on herbal and wellness therapies from an Eastern medicine tradition to help us manage some of the issues that affect most of the people that I happen to be talking to or working with on a regular basis. And I wanted to focus on four particular topics. Low libido, which I talked about yesterday. And if you have not checked that video, go over to my channel and check the video from yesterday because you're going to love it. It's a little bit longer because it had a little bit more background into it. The other three are going to be a lot shorter. And today we're going to talk about perimenopause and menopause. And tomorrow we're going to have another amazing topic. And then on day 4, we're going to have also another amazing topic that I will let you know about. Anyway, so today, as I said, we're going to talk about perimenopause and menopause. And the first thing that I think is important for people to know is that perimenopause and menopause are very natural processes of living, of being a woman and aging as we go through life. We have certain years that are considered our fertile years from the time we start our menses up until the time we stop seeing menses, at least for the vast majority of women out there. There's many reasons why you might be missing your menses, but that is the most obvious symptom that something is happening with you with perimenopause and menopause. Every woman is a universe. Every woman has a different set of circumstances and experiences when it comes to this process. But on average, anywhere between the ages of 35 and 45, you could be struggling with issues of perimenopause. And anywhere between 40 and 50 something, you could be struggling with issues of menopause. And again, these vary greatly from woman to woman. What I find in my practice is women that come to me at 30, 35, 38, maybe 42, 45, telling me I have perimenopause and or I'm having a certain group of symptoms and I don't know what to do. I either want to preserve my fertility because I want to have children in the future, or because preserving your fertility also preserve a lot of other health parts, like, for example, your ability to actually stave off certain cancers, arthritis, and other conditions. Not to mention that if you happen to be going through menopause or perimenopause a little too early, you could also have some issues like excessively dry skin, hormonal disruption, it'll be a little bit harder and a little bit less comfortable for you to engage in intimacy with your partner. So the vast majority of the women that come to me are telling me, like, look, I am seeing certain things with my period that are not the things that were happening before, right? Either the period is scantily, like it barely happens, or is excessive, like it's really, really aggressive flow. I have a lot of pain. I have a lot of PMS. We're going to talk about PMS on one of these days. I have a lot of issues and I don't know what to do. And most people, when they come to me, they have already gone to a doctor and that doctor has said, this is what could be happening. And there's only a handful of things that I could recommend. Western medicine will recommend estrogen therapy as one of the options. Certainly birth control pill. They can put you on a birth control pill or any other kind of treatment that will increase certain hormones like progesterone or estrogen in the majority of the cases. And of course, I'm not a doctor. The majority of people that come to me say, this thing that Western medicine is offering it's not enough for me, or it's not good enough. I don't want to do this, right? I don't want to be on the pill. I don't want to have to get an IUD. I don't want to have to, whatever it might be. But I still want to preserve my fertility. So what do you do? There is an important caveat, and it's that diet and lifestyle play an incredible role in this particular process. European and American women suffer from hot flashes, night sweats, and other symptoms of perimenopause or menopause more than Japanese women, Chinese women, and other South Pacific and Asian women. And it is in part because those women's diets and lifestyle are a little bit more balanced and healthier, to be frank, to be very honest. Even the women that are not considered wealthy by Western standards have a healthier diet and a healthier lifestyle, right? They manage stress a little bit better. There's a little bit more of a better balance between work and play, and between family life and the things that are important to you in life, and the things that, Western cultures and Western societies believe that are worthy of things, like working like a dog, and stressing out over things and accomplishing, and doing, and getting, and making. So it's, as I said in my first broadcast, it's incredibly important that you pay attention to those lifestyles when you are trying to address some of these symptoms. Ayurveda and Chinese medicine believe that perimenopause and menopause are imbalances, right? And even if you're meant to go through all of these processes naturally as the process of aging, you don't have to struggle, right? The symptoms, the aggressive symptoms, don't really have to be there. And so when you have an imbalance in Ayurveda, you take foods and plants to help you restore that balance and hopefully reduce the symptoms. You will still go through menopause, because unless you die young, you will still go through it. But you don't have to struggle, right? It doesn't have to disrupt your life in the way that it's disrupting the life of many women in the Western world. Chinese medicine also talks about it as a decrease of essence. And so the goal is to kind of increase the qi, increase the flow, so that your essence remains throughout the later years of your life. I tell my clients all the time, look, if your perimenopause is one of the things that you could very easily reduce the symptoms much faster and much easier than menopause. And retaining your fertility, especially if you don't have a very serious health condition, is not hard. It just takes a little discipline, and it takes a little time and patience. So let me talk first about the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause, and then we'll talk about some of the things that we do in the herbal world. So for perimenopause, it means sometimes you might be having your period, sometimes you may not. It could also mean that you have some night sweats, certainly a lot of irritability and a lot of hormonal imbalances. A period that is either very fluid, like too much flow, or almost no flow at all. And it has a consistency that's a little thicker, maybe brownish, as opposed to bright red, which is obviously the color of blood. And also, severe hormonal issues and PMS. In the case of menopause, we are talking about all of those, plus fatigue, memory loss, potential palpitations, anxiety, depression. The hot flashes and the night sweats are actually a regular occurrence. Insomnia, which actually it could happen with perimenopause as well. So as you can tell, those symptoms are not fun, right? Like we don't want to have to struggle with all of those. Aches and pains are another thing that certainly happened to me when I was struggling with perimenopause at like 32. And I was like, that's not acceptable. Like, I cannot be 32 and struggling with perimenopause. So, and I was able to restore my fertility and feel really great about my body. So let me tell you some of the things that I used. For perimenopause, if you happen to be the one that that has not enough flow, you feel like you're really heavy in the lower belly, but there's no way, and you're in pain, and you're very crampy, but then nothing comes out, or very little comes out, and you're wondering, like, the feelings should reflect what's happening, right? Dong Quai is a Chinese medicine herb that I take on and off. I've been taking on and off for years because I believe it's one of the reasons why it is actually helped me retain my fertility. It is strengthening. It helps you relax your the muscles in your uterus, but it also brings blood flow to that part of the body. It is used to treat fatigue, anemia, and poor concentration for women going through hot flashes or night sweats or perimenopause. It is not ideal for hot flashes. It could actually exacerbate your hot flashes. Um, Kava is another one for anxiety, although it's mostly used for people with menopause. Maca, which I mentioned yesterday, is great to increase libido and sexual dysfunction, and it helps with both men and women, and it's actually really good at helping you balance some of your issues of perimenopause. I love using things like cinnamon for my pain, my cramping. It's also like it helps you increase flow, and it helps you like reduce the clots and helps that flow come out a little bit easier. So in combination with the Dong Quai, it's actually really, really great. I also love red raspberry for general, beautiful systemic tonic plant for the female reproductive system. And it actually helps for issues of the breast and of the lower reproductive system. And last but not least, my trusted shatavari. Shatavari is an Ayurvedic plant, and the powder is what we use. This is actually getting a little harder. I don't know why. But I take about half a teaspoon of this and put it in my smoothie, in my chocolate, hot chocolate in the morning, in my oatmeal if I have oatmeal. It is an incredible, I think it translates to she who has 100 husbands. It's really great at helping you reverse some of the symptoms of perimenopause and help that flow that makes you feel nice and fertile and ready for action. It's really, really an incredible plant. I use it as a tonic. On and off. I use it every day until the bag is empty, and that will take, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 months, and then I let it sit for a month. Like I take a break for a month, and then I go back to it. So those are the plants that I would recommend for perimenopause. Now, if you're already on menopause, that means you have not had menses for 12 straight months, right? If you've had menses on and off in a year, you've had 2 or 3 months of the period, and then the rest of the months you didn't have one. That's not menopause. You're still in perimenopause, and you should check with your doctor if you're too young for menopause to make sure that there is no issue. But if you have been a full year without having a period, then chances are you are in menopause. Again, check with your doctor. And you're probably struggling with things like night sweats and all kinds of other things. I still like maca, and I will still use shatavari as a tonic because it actually helps with the energy of womanhood. And it will help you from the time you are 12 and have your first menstruation until the time you're 60 and you're 10 years away from menopause. There's been some studies done with ginseng, although the data doesn't show a ton of improvement. Sage is phenomenal for excessive perspiration, night sweats especially. And regardless of your age group, sage will help you with night sweats. St. John's wort is another one that, in combination with black cohosh, it's been more effective than placebo on helping with all general menopausal symptoms. Black cohosh being the very last one that I wanted to mention here as one that is being traditionally used. Is a quintessential, it's known as the quintessential menopausal herb. There's other ones, there's like motherwort, and there's other ones, but I just don't want to overwhelm you with information. The final thing that I want to say to women with menopause is that sadly, because every single woman is such a universe, is so unique, you might notice that one thing helps you for a few months and then it stops helping you. Maybe one thing helps your sister or your aunt or your mom, but it didn't quite help you. Or something helps you really amazingly, but it's not helping your friends. That is not uncommon. Sadly, Western medicine has not figured out what actually helps and what actually works for women. And the Eastern medicine traditions believe that it's a combination of things, right? You need to practice mindfulness. You need to practice a different diet. It needs to change. You can't eat the same way you ate when you were 25. It's just the way it is. You know, and then the combination of these plants that are going to make a difference. But certainly being patient, being an advocate for yourself, like trying different things, taking your time with it, being patient with it. I know it's uncomfortable. Taking your time, looking at what works and what doesn't work for you takes time, right? Like your body takes a cycle or two. Even if you are not menstruating anymore, you still go through cycles. If you're not menstruating anymore and you can't remember where are you on your cycle, then use the cycles of the moon, which are roughly 28 days. And it'll help you slowly understand a little bit about what your body is going through and then how to address it. I wish you much, much success with these plans. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever about these or any others. Tomorrow we'll be talking about another amazing topic. I will give you like a little hint. It's about PMS. Thank you so much. If you have any questions whatsoever, please leave a comment below. I want to hear from you. Make sure that you share this video with all of your friends all over the internet and you subscribe for more tips and a jolt of motivation for your healthy, happy, and beautiful life. See you soon.